Welcome to another deep dive into the world of AI. Today, we're taking a look at some cutting-edge research on large language models.
Oh, yeah.
Those AI systems that can understand and generate human-like text.
Yeah.
We're going to explore DeepSeek R1,
Okay.
a brand new model that's pushing the boundaries of what AI can do, especially when it comes to reasoning like a human.
It's fascinating. It really is. In DeepSeek R1, I think it's really making waves with this unique approach to learning and problem solving.
So DeepSeek AI just presented a paper about it at AIME 2024, and we're going to unpack some of the details for you.
Okay.
We'll uncover how DeepSeek R1 learns, its surprising aha moments,
Right.
and why it might just change how we think about AI's problem-solving abilities.
Yeah.
So first things first,
Okay.
what exactly is DeepSeek R1?
So DeepSeek R1 is a first-generation reasoning model.
Okay.
It's building on the foundation of its predecessor, DeepSeek V3.
Mm-hmm.
And what sets it apart, I think, is its use of reinforcement learning.
Okay, let's unpack this reinforcement learning thing.
Right.
How is that different from how other AI models learn?
Well, a lot of traditional models rely on massive amounts of labeled data.
Okay.
Think of it as a teacher showing the AI the right answer for thousands of examples, and that's supervised fine-tuning.
Right.
But reinforcement learning is more like giving the AI a goal
Okay.
and then letting it figure out the best strategy through trial and error, like learning by doing
Yeah.
instead of being told.
So it's less about memorizing the right answer
Yeah.
and more about developing a strategy for figuring things out.
Exactly.
That sounds a lot like how humans learn.
Exactly. And that's what makes DeepSeek R1 so intriguing.
Yeah.
It actually comes in two main flavors.
Okay.
DeepSeek R1.0
Okay.
learns purely through this reinforcement learning process, like no hand-holding at all.
Wow.
And then there's just DeepSeek R1, which uses a smaller set of what they call cold start data to guide its initial learning.
So one is figuring things out completely on its own, and the other one gets a few hints to point it in the right direction.
Yeah, a little bit of a head start.
What's really interesting is that DeepSeek AI has also released distilled versions of the model,
Yeah.
ranging in size, based on open source models like Qwen and Llama.
That's really significant because it allows more researchers to experiment with the technology.
Yeah.
It makes the field more accessible.
Democratizing AI research. I love to see it.
Yeah.
But how good is DeepSeek R1 really? Does it live up to the hype?
This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
DeepSeek R1 is achieving performance comparable to OpenAI's O1-1217 on reasoning tasks, according to Figure 1 in their research paper.
Wait, so OpenAI's models, those are considered top tier in the AI world, right?
Yeah.
So DeepSeek R1 is going toe-to-toe with the best of the best.
Yeah, you got it. They're running head-to-head in benchmarks like the AIME, so the American Invitational Mathematics Examination,
Wow.
Math 500, which focuses on more complex mathematical reasoning,
Okay.
and then GPQA Diamond, which measures knowledge and reasoning abilities.
So it can solve math problems.
Yeah.
What about coding? Can it write code like a human programmer?
Well, they tested it on Live Code Bench for coding skills, and even on Codeforces for competitive programming challenges. The results are really promising, showing a high level of competency in both areas.
So math problems, check code, check. Real multitasker.
Yeah.
How does it compare to other LLMs?
Well, they've compared it to a whole range. Like, besides the OpenAI models, they've looked at its performance against DeepSeek V3, its predecessor, on tasks like the MMLU, the Massive Multitask Language Understanding, as well as more specialized tests like MMLU Pro, Simple QA, Frames, Alpacaval 2.0, and Arena Hard.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, they cover a range of abilities from factual question answering to writing and complex open domain Q&A.
Yeah.
And they even compared it to Claude Sonnet 3.51022 and GPT-4o Go 0513 on various tasks.
So it sounds like DeepSeek R1 is a serious contender in the LLM space.
For sure.
But you mentioned something earlier that I'm dying to hear more about, these aha moments.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
So DeepSeek R10, the one trained purely through reinforcement learning, displayed some unexpected behavior during testing. Table 3 of the paper describes an instance where it was working on a math problem and actually seemed to recognize its own mistake.
Really?
It's described as like flagging its own error and then reevaluating its approach.
Hold on. The AI caught its own WN mistake. Isn't that kind of a big deal?
It's huge. This isn't just blindly following instructions or crunching numbers.
Right.
It suggests a capacity for what we call metacognition.
What's that?
Thinking about its own thinking.
That's mind-blowing.
It's pretty wild.
So is this AI becoming sentient?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
It's a fascinating phenomenon. But remember, we're still dealing with complex algorithms.
Right.
DeepSeek R10 is showing signs of higher-level thinking. But whether that equals sentience is a whole other discussion.
Fair enough. But the fact that it's capable of this kind of self-correction is amazing.
Yeah.
What does this aha moment tell us about how AI learns?
Well, what's crucial is that DeepSeek R10 achieved this through pure reinforcement learning. Remember, it had no prior examples or instructions on how to solve problems, let alone recognize its own mistakes.
Yeah.
The fact that it developed this ability on its own suggests that reinforcement learning might foster not just problem-solving skills, but also metacognitive abilities.
Oh, yeah.
That's the really cool part.
You mentioned that DeepSeek AI also released these distilled versions of the model.
Right.
What's the difference between those and the ones trained with reinforcement learning?
That's a great question. So in section 4.1 of the paper, they compared these two approaches. They pitted DeepSeek R10 Kroon 32B. Trained only via reinforcement learning against DeepSeek R1 Distill Quinn 32B, which was created by distilling knowledge from the larger DeepSeek R1 model.
Okay, so one learned by doing, and the other by being taught by a smarter model.
Exactly.
What were the results?
The results, shown in Table 6,
Okay.
are pretty clear. The distilled model, DeepSeek R1 Distill Quinn 32B,
Okay.
significantly outperformed the one trained purely through reinforcement learning across all benchmarks.
So what does that tell us? Is reinforcement learning not as effective as we thought?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It tells you that the way a model learns is just as important as what it learns. The distilled model benefited from the wisdom of its larger counterpart.
Okay.
It's like it inherited a kind of problem-solving wisdom.
So it's not just about the method,
Right.
but also about what's being learned.
Yeah.
The distilled model benefited from the insights the larger model developed.
Exactly.
Through its extensive reinforcement learning process.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay.
And this raises some interesting questions about the nature of AI learning and how we can best train these models to achieve their full potential.
Yeah.
But even with all its achievements, DeepSeek R1 isn't perfect.
Okay, so no AI is perfect.
Right.
What are some areas where it falls short?
Well, they found that the model can be sensitive to how prompts are phrased, which could affect its performance in real-world applications.
Yeah.
They also observed some instances of language mixing, where the model might switch between languages unexpectedly.
That could lead to some confusing outputs.
Yeah, it could.
And how about its coding abilities?
Right.
Can it truly replace human programmers?
Well, they found there's still room for improvement when it comes to software engineering tasks.
Okay.
DeepSeek R1 hasn't quite mastered the nuances of complex coding projects yet.
So it's not ready to take our jobs just yet?
Not quite yet.
But are they planning on improving its coding skills?
Absolutely. They're looking into refining its performance on those tasks through more focused reinforcement learning training.
Okay, imagine an AI that can not only reason like a human, but also write flawless code.
Yeah.
That's the future they're aiming for.
That's an exciting prospect. But speaking of areas where DeepSeek R1 is still learning, let's talk about its coding skills and what DeepSeek AI is doing to improve them.
One interesting approach they're exploring is reject sampling.
Okay.
It involves having the model generate multiple potential solutions to a coding problem and then selecting the best one based on specific criteria.
So it's like the AI brainstorms different approaches and then picks the most efficient or elegant solution.
Exactly. This helps the model learn from its mistakes and refine its understanding of coding best practices. They're also experimenting with incorporating asynchronous evaluations into the reinforcement learning process.
Okay.
This means the model can receive feedback and adjust its learning even while working on a task, which really speeds up the training process. That's like having a coding mentor who's always there to provide guidance and feedback.
Right, exactly.
It all sounds incredibly promising. I'm excited to see how DeepSeek R1 evolves in the coming year.
Me too. The pace of innovation in this field is astounding.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about what all this means for our listener.
That's a great point. We've covered a lot of technical ground.
We have.
But let's bring it back down to earth.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways here? Why should you, the listener, care about this new AI model?
That's a good question.
So we've been exploring these capabilities of DeepSeek R1.
Right.
And it's clear this model is pushing the boundaries of what AI can do.
Yeah.
But it also raises some big questions.
Absolutely. As these reasoning AI models become more sophisticated, we have to think about their place in the world and what it means for us humans.
One thing that keeps popping into the echo of my head is the potential impact on jobs.
Right.
If AI can solve complex math problems, write code, and even learn from its mistakes. What does that mean for people who do those jobs?
It's a valid concern. As AI systems become more capable of performing tasks that were once exclusive to humans, there's a natural worry about job displacement. But it's important to remember that history is full of technological advancements that initially caused anxieties about jobs, but ultimately led to new opportunities and a reshaping of the workforce.
So instead of thinking about AI taking jobs, we should be thinking about how it might change the types of jobs that exist.
Exactly. It's not necessarily a zero-sum game.
Right.
AI could automate certain tasks, freeing up humans to focus on more creative, strategic, or interpersonal aspects of their work.
It's like how the invention of the calculator didn't make mathematicians obsolete.
Right.
It just changed how they work.
Precisely. And as AI takes on more routine tasks, it could even create entirely new job categories that we haven't even thought of yet. Think about the jobs that have emerged around social media or e-commerce fields that didn't even exist a couple of decades ago.
That's a really good point. It's hard to predict the future.
It really is.
But it's likely that AI will create as many opportunities as it disrupts.
I think so.
But let's talk about the human side of AI for a moment.
Okay.
We've been focusing on DeepSeek R1's ability to reason.
Right.
But can AI truly understand human emotions or values?
That's a deep question.
It is.
And one that philosophers and AI researchers are really grappling with. AI models like DeepSeek R1 are trained on massive amounts of text data, which includes a vast range of human expression, from factual information to emotional outbursts.
Okay.
So in a sense, these models are exposed to the full spectrum of human emotions.
So they're learning about emotions by reading about them.
Yeah, in a way.
That's interesting, but can they actually feel emotions?
That's where things get complicated.
Okay.
Current AI models, even the most advanced ones, don't experience emotions the way humans do.
Okay.
They can process and respond to language that expresses emotions,
right,
but they don't have the same internal subjective experience.
So it's like the difference between understanding the word happy and actually feeling happiness.
Exactly.
So even with all its reasoning power, DeepSeek R1 isn't going to fall in love or experience existential angst.
Not in the way we understand those concepts.
Okay.
But the fact that AI can even process and respond to human emotions in a nuanced way raises fascinating questions about the nature of consciousness and what it means to be human.
And this brings up another big question.
If
AI can learn from human language and behavior, does that mean it can also inherit human biases?
That's a crucial point, and one that AI developers are very aware of.
Okay.
Remember, these models are trained on data created by humans, and that data inevitably reflects the biases, prejudices, and limitations of our society.
So it's like the old saying, garbage in, garbage out.
Right.
If we train AI on biased data, we're going to get biased AI.
Exactly. That's why it's crucial to carefully curate the training data. Ensure it represents a diverse range of perspectives, and develop techniques for detecting and mitigating bias in AI systems.
It sounds like there's a lot of responsibility
there is
that comes with developing these powerful AI models.
It's a huge responsibility.
But let's shift gears again.
Okay.
And talk about the future of reasoning AI.
Right.
What's next for DeepSeek R1? And what impact could it have on our lives in the coming years?
So DeepSeek AI is already working on the next generation of DeepSeek R1.
Okay, give us a sneak peek.
Okay.
What are they working on?
They're aiming to improve its general capabilities beyond reasoning.
Okay.
Such as multi-turn conversations, complex role-playing, and generating structured outputs like JSON.
What's that?
It's a way of organizing data.
Okay.
They're also addressing the language mixing issue.
Right.
And expanding support for more languages.
So they want to make it more versatile, more adaptable to different situations and languages.
Exactly. They're also refining the model's performance on software engineering tasks through more focused reinforcement learning training.
Okay.
They're really pushing the boundaries of what's possible, exploring new techniques and architectures that could lead to even more impressive results.
It's like they're constantly raising the bar.
Yeah.
Pushing AI to be more capable, more human-like in its reasoning.
That's a good way to put it. The goal is to create AI systems that can not only solve problems, but also understand the nuances of human language and reasoning, adapt to complex situations, and interact with us in a more natural and intuitive way.
That brings up another question.
Okay.
As these AI models become more sophisticated, are we going to see them integrated into our daily lives more seamlessly? I mean, are we talking about a future where we're interacting with AI constantly?
Right.
Maybe without even realizing it.
It's a very real possibility.
Wow.
We're already seeing AI being incorporated into our smartphones, our homes, our cars. As reasoning AI models like DeepSeek R1 continue to evolve, they could become even more ubiquitous, assisting us with everyday tasks, providing personalized recommendations, and even engaging in meaningful conversations.
So it's kind of like having a super intelligent assistant who's always there to help you out.
Exactly.
But could there also be downsides to having AI so deeply embedded in our lives? What are the potential risks we need to be aware of?
Yeah, it's a good question.
So we've talked about the potential for AI to change the job landscape. And even blur the lines between human and artificial intelligence. But as these AI models become more integrated into our lives, are there any risks we need to be mindful of?
Well, as with any powerful technology, there are always potential downsides. One concern is the possibility of over-reliance on AI. If we become too dependent on AI to make decisions or solve problems for us, it could lead to a decline in our own critical thinking skills.
It's like if you always rely on a GPS to navigate. You might lose your own sense of direction.
Exactly. We need to find a balance between utilizing the power of AI and maintaining our own cognitive abilities. It's about using AI as a tool to enhance our capabilities, not to replace them entirely.
So it's about using AI to augment our intelligence, not to become complacent or dependent. What about the issue of control? As AI systems become more autonomous and capable of making decisions, how do we ensure that they remain aligned with human values and goals?
That's a fundamental challenge in AI research and development. It's about designing AI systems that not only perform tasks efficiently, but also operate within a framework of human ethics and values.
So it's not enough for AI to just be smart. It also has to be good. How do we even begin to define good in the context of AI?
It's a complex question. And there's no single easy answer. It requires ongoing dialogue between AI developers, ethicists, policymakers, and society as a whole. We need to establish clear guidelines and principles for responsible AI development, ensuring that these systems are designed and deployed in a way that benefits humanity and aligns with our values.
It's a big task.
It is.
It's like trying to write a rule book for a technology that's constantly evolving and changing.
It's a challenge, but a necessary one. We need to be proactive in shaping the future of AI, ensuring that it reflects our best intentions and aspirations.
So how do we do that?
Well, one way to address these concerns is to focus on transparency and explainability. The more we understand how AI systems work,
the better equipped we are to identify potential biases, mitigate risks, and hold these systems accountable.
So it's about lifting the hood, making sure we understand the inner workings of these AI systems. That makes sense. But isn't AI development incredibly complex?
It can be.
How can we make it accessible to the average person who might not have a background in computer science?
That's true. AI can seem daunting. But there are efforts underway to demystify it and make it more understandable to the general public.
Good.
One approach is to develop tools and interfaces that visualize how AI models work, making their decision-making processes more transparent. Another is to encourage more open dialogue and public education about AI, breaking down these complex concepts into more digestible terms.
So it's like translating the language of AI into something everyone can understand.
Exactly.
But transparency is only one part of the equation, right?
We also need to ensure that these AI systems are developed responsibly.
Yes.
That they're not being used for malicious purposes.
Right.
Or to exploit people.
Absolutely. Responsible AI development is about more than just technical proficiency.
Right.
It's about ethics, accountability, and a commitment to using this technology for good.
Okay.
This involves establishing clear ethical guidelines for AI development and deployment, ensuring that these systems are used in a way that respects human rights, privacy, and fairness.
So it's about building safeguards into the very foundation of AI.
Exactly.
Making sure that ethics are baked into the code, so to speak.
We need to ensure that AI is used to empower people, not to manipulate or control them.
Right.
This requires ongoing vigilance, critical thinking, and a willingness to engage in open and honest conversations about the potential impact of this technology.
Well, this has been a truly fascinating deep dive into the world of DeepSeek R1.
It has.
We've explored its incredible capabilities.
Yeah.
Its potential to revolutionize various fields.
It really could.
And the important questions it raises about the future of AI and its role in our lives.
Great.
What's the one key takeaway you hope our listener walks away with today?
I think DeepSeek R1 is a remarkable example of the rapid progress being made in AI, particularly in the area of reasoning.
Right.
But it's crucial to remember that AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
That's true.
The responsibility lies with us as developers, researchers, policymakers, and citizens to guide its development and ensure that it's used in a way that benefits all of humanity.
It's an exciting and challenging time to be alive.
It is.
Witnessing the unfolding of a technological revolution.
Yeah.
But it's a future we don't have to face passively.
That's right.
We can be active participants, asking critical questions, engaging in meaningful conversations, and shaping the development of AI in a way that aligns with our values and aspirations.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of cutting-edge AI research.
It's my pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.